Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, coming to you live from Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. Nigeria Police Council confirms Muhammad Adamu as Substantive Inspector General of Police. Presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, raises alarm over alleged plan to cause crisis in parts of the country and accuse him of being responsible. Latest report from the United States Agency for International Development claims conflict in Nigeria's North Central has contributed to over 7,000 deaths and caused the economy over $13 billion a year. And Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi is re-elected for another 5 years in office, following landslide victory in the general election. ChannelsTV.com has more information for you, and on youtube.com/channelsweb you can watch our videos. You can also watch us on your mobile device via browser or download the Channels TV app for Android and iOS devices from their respective stores. Besides giving you access to news updates on the go, the Channels TV and Channels 24 app has an eyewitness feature that you can use to share pictures, videos or news of happenings around you. Just install the app, tap and swipe to reveal the menu, and then follow the instructions. The Katsina State government has cancelled all activities lined up for the inauguration of the new administration in the state following persistent cases of killings. The Secretary to the State Government, Dr. Mustapha Inua, said in a statement that the decision was taken to commiserate with the families of those who lost their loved ones or property as a result of the dastardly acts of the bandits. Dr. Inua also affirmed that only the swearing-in of the governor and his deputy, as stipulated in the Constitution, will hold on that day. To some more sad news, the death toll from Wednesday's building collapse at Ezenwa Street in Onitsha, Anambra State, has risen to 5, with 3 persons rescued so far. The Anambra State Police Public Relations Officer Haruna Mohammed confirmed this development to Channels Television. The local government chairman of Onitsha North, Mr. Patrick Agamba, commended youths in the area for their timely intervention in rescuing the victims. He, however, promised to ensure that the government authorities investigate the quality of construction work on the site.
A crowd of onlookers gathered at the rubble of a collapsed building in Onitsha, Anambra State. It was a 3-story building under construction on 7 Ezenwa Street. It caved in, trapping 6 persons, including the site engineer. According to eyewitnesses, 2 construction workers came out unhurt, while the 3rd person was rescued on the 3rd hour. While some fault the construction, others are not happy with the government for what they say is delayed response.
The manager doesn't know his work at all. That is it. The Nigerian government should put down for those managers, so those contractors, they don't know their work at all.
Government officials are here, but yet they don't find it. They don't find it worthy to bring any excavator. Since to remove all these debris, so that those ones that are trapped inside that place should be rescued.
To boost rescue efforts, the local government chairman of Onitsha North arrives on the scene with 2 excavators. One more victim is rescued.
3 persons have been rescued, and the 3 are General Hospital Onitsha.
Residents of this community, I give kudos to them for their effort, wonderful effort. Luckily for us, we were able to rescue 3 of them with the help of all these agencies, especially the youth of this community.
3 bodies are pulled out, including one allegedly identified as the site engineer.
I heard that he is the contractor. Formally, when you call him, he will answer the call. But gradually, he suffocated to death because the help didn't come earlier.
Blames rent the air. Residents of this area say the building construction had been ongoing for 3 months, and the body in charge of material testing, as well as the Anambra State Urban Development Board, should have paid more attention.
Pretty sad development indeed. And from there, we move over to Abuja. Here's Ibrahim Adra. Ibrahim.
Sad indeed, Ijama. Our thoughts and prayers goes to the family of those who lost their lives. Here in the nation's capital, a federal high court in Lagos has convicted a former acting director general of NIMASA, Pt.2 Obi, charged with 136 million naira fraud. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, had preferred an 8-count against Mr. Obi, who was also a former executive director of the agency. He was charged alongside one Alu Dismas, who was an aide to a former DG of NIMASA, Patrick Abokbo-Lemi. The court convicted them today after it found them guilty of allegations contained in the charge. Delivering her judgment, which lasted about 2.5 hours, Justice Mojisola Olaterugu found the first defendant guilty of counts 5, 6, 7, and 8 of the charge, and also found the second defendant guilty of counts 2 and 4 of the charge. Meanwhile, the court discharged the defendants of counts 1 and 3 of the charge. She adjourned until May the 28th to hear a plea for mercy of the convicts, after which the court will deliver its sentence. Meanwhile, the court ordered the defendants to be remanded in prison custody pending sentence. Still in the court, a federal high court again in Lagos has fixed May the 31st to hear an application filed by a judge of the federal high court, Justice Rita Ofili-Ajumogobia, challenging her trial before the court. Justice Rilwan Aikawa fixed the date today after listening to parties in the suit. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, had charged Justice Ofili-Ajumogobia and her senior advocate of Nigeria, Godwin Obla, on 18 counts bordering on conspiracy, unlawful enrichment, retention of crime proceeds, and money laundering. They were rearraigned on May the 15th and had both pleaded not guilty to all counts of the charge. The court had granted them bail in the sum of 10 million naira each, with 2 sureties in like sum. Mr. Clark went on to inform the court of a preliminary objection he filed, challenging the court's jurisdiction to entertain the charge against Justice Ajumogobia. He argued that the defendant was prosecuted for about 2.5 years before an Ikeja division of the Lagos High Court, with 18 witnesses called by the prosecution before the court dismissed the suit. On his part, the second defense counsel, Obi, also informed the court of his application, seeking to split the charge and try his client, Godwin Obla, separately. The House of Representatives has commenced work on the Petroleum Industry Governance Bill that was rejected by President Muhammadu Buhari in a bid to address the concerns raised by the president. The House, through a motion, recommitted the bill and 2 other bills to the Committee of the House, where the relevant clauses indicated by the president will be amended. In the motion, the House noted that the observations raised by the president were germane for the smooth operation of the bills, if eventually assented to by the president. President Buhari had rejected the much-anticipated petroleum bill, citing constitutional reasons. Ogun State government is assuring residents of the state that all the projects going on in different parts of the state are for the good of all. The state government says there can be no meaningful development without some sacrifice on the part of the residents.
This is the MKO Abiola International Stadium, Abeokuta, Ogun State. It is a usual venue for most government activities, such as the Children's Day and a handover ceremony, both taking place next week. Opposite the stadium is the road leading to Kuto, the first bus terminal for anyone coming into the state through the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. The road is under construction, and the aim is to expand it to a 10-lane boulevard road. With the construction comes gridlock, so much so that motorists and other road users say they are ready to bear the temporary pain for a more lasting benefit for all.
Traffic yẹn ó lágbára gan-an, ṣùgbọ́n a dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run pé gbogbo nǹkan wá sí àtúnṣe lórí Ogun State wa yìí. A dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ Amosu gan torí pé that's best governor in the Ogun State tó jẹ́ pé nǹkan tó ṣe ó kàyéfì gidi gan.
This project going on, it's a nice stuff because it's for our own betterment. It's for our own betterment. And if this thing is not done, it will affect us later in the future. So me trekking now, it's a sacrifice for me because tomorrow, after this project is completed, it will be for my own good and for the general people of Ogun State.
But the state government says it is taken aback by insinuation in some quarters that the construction is done primarily to disrupt the inauguration program of the incoming administration.
This government is living in less than 5 days. The government is not concerned about the incoming administration. This place will be left, and when the incoming government comes, they will finish the road themselves. But this outgoing government decided to make it as measurable as possible for them. That is why the construction is going on here. The government didn't block it.
The government says the construction is not an afterthought, and so it has made provision for alternative routes. And before long, traffic eases. The state government assures that when the project is completed, the gridlock experienced now will be a thing of the past.
And that's all from here as we rejoin Ijoma in our Lagos studio. Ijoma.
Thanks a lot, Ibrahim. The Lagos State Governor-elect, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, says his administration will not condone any contractors who default on projects in the state. Mr. Sanwo-Olu says his government will identify individuals that will help him to deliver effectively to the people. The governor-elect spoke to Channels Television in an interview a few days to his inauguration.
One of the things that usually happen in government procrastinate a lot. People are always very audacious. They lack audacity to take initiative, to take direction, to take bold ideas and bolts. So that's not what will happen to us. For as long as we've identified that there's a need and there's a purpose. So the major thing is identifying who are not your time wasters. The moment you can identify, because people come and tell you stories, people will come and sign a 6 months MOU with you. That is exclusive. So you go to sleep expecting that, 1 week before the end of that 6 months, the man has a solution. No, it doesn't. So you have been set back by 6 months just because you signed an exclusivity with someone. So one of the solutions is signing multiple exclusivity. Is your criteria to identify who is a serious partner. Haven't listened to everybody. So you must work with your intuition to be sure that this one, and it must come with sanctions. If I give you a 6 months to come and you don't deliver, it must come with consequences. That's how you get things done.
When the news at 10 returns, House of Representatives indicts 15 banks on the remittance of over 1.5 billion naira worth of stamp duty. Do join us again.